Guys, it's your boy Head coming at you today with a quick word about failure. Listen, you guys, we have to get our minds wrapped around the truth that failure is actually a good thing. Yes, failure is a good thing. I have failed many times in my life, but the failures weren't the end result. And so many people, I made a list of some people that, love them or hate them, they have failed miserably and came back to have ginormous things happen in their lives. So I want to give you a few examples real quick before I get off track. Walt Disney. He was fired for having no imagination or good ideas in animation. Beethoven, his teacher said he was hopeless and would never be successful in composition or playing violin. My God. Michael Jordan, he was cut from his high school basketball team. He was cut from his team. This is a quote from Jordan. I have failed over and over in life, and that's why I succeed. That's the truth right there, you guys. Steve Jobs, fired from his baby Apple. We all know that. And he was completely devastated, didn't know what to do with his life. He had all these other ideas, but his whole purpose through that was to have failure have its work and him go on this journey that led him back to Apple to invent all the iPhones and iPads and everything else that we use in our lives. Robert Downey Jr., I like to use this example for the recovery community. That guy was over and over and over again was in jail, getting arrested, just massive drug addiction drama that me and probably many of you have walked through. And then all of a sudden, all that failure led him to finally getting free. And his career had a step up and he had a second chance. And look where he's gone. I mean, from Iron Man till today. I mean, he's doing just big movies. And he turned it all the ugly, he turned around and made it beautiful. So Oprah Winfrey, she was told in one of her first jobs, she was too emotional and unfit for TV. So many people have walked through failure, you guys. Sometimes, like Robert Downey Jr., his failure was from himself. And, I know that intimately. And other times it was, other people that put these people down or fired them or whatever. But the process of failure is so important that we walk through it. And if you walk with God and you have Christ living in you, especially, there is a supernatural work that is going on that is like the opposite of what we see in our failure. And what I mean by the opposite is many good things are happening when we walk through failure. Many good things are happening behind the scenes as we trust in Christ to use his resurrection power by his Spirit to turn all things around for good, Romans 8:28. And I love it in the Bible because they talk about so many of these characters look like they were failing. From Joseph, he was thrown into the pit and thrown into prison by his own brothers, And so all these years from prison to prison, it looked like he failed. It looked like his life was meaningless. But behind the scenes, the exact opposite was happening. The exact opposite. He was being prepared to be set up to be a king. King David, he was chosen to be king, and the word was spoken to him. And what happened? He was homeless, living in caves. This guy was trying to kill him for who knows how long, and he looked like a failure. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, he was being prepared for greatness. Who else? Paul, the guy Paul in the Bible, who was first named Saul, but he confessed in the Bible he confessed that he was helping to kill Christians. And so his failure he was a religious guy, thought he was doing God's work by killing Christians. And his failure led him to find Christ, to have an encounter with Christ. And even his own choice, making his own failures by his own hands, turned out to be the opposite behind the scenes. God was using his evil and he's going to turn it for good. So the last but not least, obviously, Jesus the Christ. He came and revealed to some that he was the Son of God. Word got around. They arrested him, tortured him, crucified him, killed him. But behind the scenes, what was happening? It says very clearly in the scriptures that he was all about the success. He was actually winning, because behind the scenes, he was destroying the darkness in the spiritual world, while he was getting just completely mangled, tortured, and killed in the natural realm, looking like a failure, you guys, looking like a failure. Behind the scenes, the opposite was taking place, and he achieved the biggest success in the history of the universe. Can't get a better example than that, And I think about my life, it's like the drug addiction, the divorce, the bankruptcy, whatever, I have countless failures. Behind the scenes, there was an energy that is God's Spirit. It's actually more than an energy. I correct myself. It's a person. The Spirit of Christ himself was behind the scenes, calling me to take my failures and put them into his hands, so that he can turn everything that's so ugly and evil and just trash and turn it and make it beautiful. So I want you guys to not ever forget what I'm telling you about failure, okay? Because behind the scenes, things are happening. Good things are happening. Do not give up. Do not give up in life. Do not give up if you're going through a divorce. Do not give up if you got fired or you don't have a job right now. Do not give up. There's something behind the scenes. There's someone behind the scenes that loves you and is for you and is working secretly and very profoundly to take you to a place of success. It doesn't get better than that. Yes!